Today we're talking about the Derricos. They filed for divorce back in June 2024. It was finalized in 2 days. So why did they get divorced? Let's talk about it.
You asking me?
Yeah. Why do you think they got a divorce?
I think, having seen the show, I mean, how long have we seen the show? I think that's the first question.
I think it came on in 2020. It was pandemic-ish.
It came on about pandemic? I thought it was
pandemic-ish. I think it might have been like before, but it was 2019 at the earliest, I think.
I mean, so we've been following them since the beginning.
Yes, like, we've been watching.
What was that, on OWN originally? Mm-hmm. Right? So on OWN, watching them, I think, it came on during a good time, I guess, during COVID. You know, we were not much to watch in the house. Right. But no, I think over the years, what I've seen consistently is just that, not saying consistently, I think just recently I did see the dynamic shift between Karen and Derricos, is that what they call him?
Yeah, Dion.
Dion. Mm-hmm.
His real name is Dion, but she calls him Derrico.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
But I seen the dynamic shift between them. I think there was a point, at least this last season, or maybe the last 2 seasons, where he's, I'm not going to say he's been doing anything, but she's been kind of trying to do her thing. I've seen her trying to explore new opportunities and start the business, the clothing line, and do all this extra stuff, and he's always putting a stop to it. Right. That's the one thing that I have been seeing consistently.
The clothing line, the wanting to move potentially closer to her family, which is in the South, I believe North Carolina. He didn't want to do that because of Gigi. Yeah. Kind of made sense, but again, once you start stacking all those things, right? Okay, he's got a reason why he doesn't want to move, even though she really wants to move. Yeah. He's got a reason why she shouldn't do this clothing line, though she really wants to do the clothing line. And now she just seems irritated this last season.
Yeah, even with the daughter going to college. Right. I think that was something that happened. Also, I think something's going on, because for me, the biggest thing I seen last season was he bought a house and she didn't know about it.
Yes.
To me, that's absurd.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Right. Even though he is a real estate agent, right? And I'm sure he is moving properties, but you're talking about a family home at that point, like where you intend to raise your family and move your family into, and he keeps saying second mortgage, you got to pay the second mortgage. And your wife doesn't know you got a second mortgage? Yeah, that's got to be rough.
Yeah. And so he's like I said, what I've seen was he's putting his hands in everything, and she has her hands in very little. And I can see where she's like, hey, I'm at this point in life. Maybe the kids are getting, not that they're getting that much older, but I can definitely see her trying to find her own space and her own peace. And, he's just like, no. We'll get to you at some point, but not now, not today, today.
They ended the season with that, right? She's finding her voice. She's taking on these speaker roles to share her story, what she's personally gone through, and sharing that with the girls. I mean, we saw that in one of the last episodes this season. So she's finding herself. She doesn't have any more babies. Like, literally the youngest of the kids are walking, talking, seem potty trained, right? Like, they're moving on now. They're about to start school, it seems like. She's finding her
And
again.
She's still young. How old is she?
Gosh.
How old are the Derricos? I mean, I know he's much older, so he's got to be like 50-something.
I think he's 50-something, but I don't think she's that much 40-ish, like younger, early 40s.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so irreconcilable differences is one of the main reasons why anyone gets a divorce. So I think.
So that's what they had written down?
I don't know.
It was kind of fast.
It was really fast and really quick. And I mean, it's par for the course. It's Nevada. It's Vegas. That kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's one of the main reasons people get divorced. But another main reason people get divorced is finances, right? Mm-hmm. Like, people argue about finances. Married couples argue about finances. Mm-hmm. So, they've had some financial troubles, right? Like, they've filed for bankruptcy. I know Karen has filed before. I don't know if Dion Derrico has filed. Do you know if he's filed?
I don't know. Probably.
But
I think there was a point where, like, I saw something where it said that she did, he did, but it seems like she did as a recent, maybe like within the last 5 years or so. So that was the only thing I might have seen. But no, I think that, so you got that point. But I do just believe that it was I don't know if it was finances or any of that stuff. I truly think it just came, I think there was, yes, that could have been a part of it. But I think that it was just her, she wanted to do her thing. I saw it. Like, you can see it in her attitude. Like, you know what? I'm trying to just do me, and you getting in the way. And it's just consistently no. And I think if there was a divorce, I do believe that. Who do you think initiated?
I mean, if it's irreconcilable differences,
No, just based on the dynamic of the
based on the
situation,
dynamic.
who do you think initiated that whole thing?
I think Karen did.
Interesting. I think he did.
Really?
He's petty.
Oh.
He's petty. He's been petty ever since, we've been watching the show. He's petty.
He is petty.
Something serious. I do believe
Bless his
that he
heart.
would have been like, you know what? I just think maybe blah, 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 right? I think that would have happened with him. And I think he would have been petty enough to let that roll. I think if Karen would have initiated, I think it would have been less organized. Like, it probably wouldn't have happened as quick. I think he was in agreement. I think it was his idea. I think he initiated it. And I think the reason it went all smooth, and I think everything made sense, how much he was paying in child support, all of that was his doing, his planning, and like, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do.
I mean, everything had to be in order for 2 days, right? Like, that means all your T's were crossed and I's were dotted.
And
like,
so I don't think that he would have been against it. I think he would have been the one to initiate, because he was always the one dominant in those conversations. And I seen him like, okay, he's pushing his direction, his initiative. So I felt like he was the one who would have done it. Easy decision for me.
Oh, okay.
Easy.
All right. That's a perspective.
Yeah.
I can get along with that. I mean, there's been some rumors out there that they're like not properly married. I don't really see how that's possible, because if you're not properly married, then you can't get a divorce.
Get a proper divorce. So, no, I think
I feel like that's debunked just by the fact that the judge allowed the divorce.
But then you got the fact of all these kids.
Yeah.
I do believe they are likely to stay in the same household.
Yes.
Are they though?
I mean, why not have a community home to keep the kids there?
I think I recently saw something. So we do know there's a video out there where he's saying, yes, they got a divorce. And yes, she's saying, yes, we got a divorce. I'm doing great. Thank everybody for checking in. And he's arguing, his point and all this other stuff. So I think there's reasons as to why. But his big argument was, I'm still taking care of my kids. I'm still doing this. Not that, hey, we're still together. We're still loving. Not they said we still love each other, but not that we're still together. We're still doing this together. It was, hey, I still take care of my kids, and yes, we still gonna do X, Y, Z. And I don't believe that a man should leave his wife in general, but what his dad did to his mother with Gigi. So those things were all said. So I don't believe he's going anywhere in that sense. I just don't believe that they mentally could have stayed together. But moreover, I just think that she wanted to do her thing. I think he's been arguing enough. I think he's been arguing enough. She's been frustrated enough. I think she would have agreed. And I just think that it was his doing. I do believe that there was some planning associated with it. I don't believe that he said, hey, I think we need to get divorced. I believe that it was more like, hey, here's what we should do. Here's why we should do it. Here's how everything is going to work out. Here's how we're going to manage it. Here's how we're going to organize it. I think he was very strategic about this whole thing.
So putting on, like, just not fabricating it, but just having it all outlined and organized in a way that benefits him. So if you're doing that, then you're talking about ratings at that point, right? Like,
I don't know
do they factor in ratings to that?
I think whatever happened was deeper than that television show. I believe whether that had been an emotional, whatever, or whether it was a financial thing, I think it was deeper than the show. I don't believe that played a part. I don't believe they would have done something like that just to say, hey, you know what, we want more ratings, we want more people to talk about us, and all publicity is good publicity, and let's move forward. I don't think he did that. I think it was pettiness.
Well, I can see that. I could see that, but definitely ratings have played a factor in how they've handled it. Right, from the communication, it's been, oh, check out this season, you're going to learn more. Check out this season, you're going to learn more. And
I think they're obligated. I think they can't talk about it.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
because they've made it clear they're filming a next season.
Yeah, so
and
I
that's
don't think
when
they
we
can
really
talk
will find
about
out
what is really going on.
But even in all of their communications since filing for divorce and being granted their divorce, it has always been about pumping up this final season and pumping up the last of these few episodes from the last season. It's very much, hey, we got a divorce. See our statement, but make sure you tune in tonight. Hey, we're gonna go live right before the show airs on the different various channels. Make sure you still tune in. Like, it's definitely, let's push these ratings. Like, we're being talked about. Let's push it.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's been upset. But there's also the other reason he could have been upset. I think there's been an argument going across, or at least the statements and things saying that he and the other guy were trying to be together. Right?
Yeah,
so
I think people always found the dynamic of Eric being there to be a little off, a little different. We did learn more about Eric over the years, and I believe it was either the beginning of last season or the end of the season prior. We really learned his story. And I think he really is at this point just another family member. But some people think it's more and a little bit more intimate.
Who gets custody of Eric now that all this has played out? Because, they got custody of the kids. Who's getting Eric now?
Well, based on pictures on social media, I think...
He went with Derricos, didn't he?
Yeah, Dion.
Yeah, he has been with him. I've seen her, I think, but there was something else that happened, I guess, within that conversation. I got to check that out.
Yeah, we got to follow up on that. We got to figure out.
But yeah, so, I just think that I don't think it was for show. I don't think it could have been money. It could have been something associated with that.
Right.
The bankruptcy argument is that if he was in the middle of something, them filing bankruptcy makes sense. Or if she wanted to get some government assistance, it makes sense. To show income, obviously, he's saying that he's only paying $1,500 a month, or whatever it was, 15, 16, 14, I don't know. But he's paying that. It could show that maybe she can't, survive on the small amount of income with 14 kids and limited income. There might need to be some government assistance. I just don't think that would be necessary for the sake of the show and all these other reasons. They get about, I think the show pays them, less than almost $1,000 per kid. I think it was 12. What was it? Almost $10,000 per kid or something like that.
Okay. Either way, that's still a good.
Either way, it was a good chunk of money. So I don't know what the split like that looks like, but there could have been some financial reasons. Derricos, I think he's always been strategic about everything he's been doing in life. Whether that be in business or
real
family
estate,
or real estate or property. So I think he's always been very strategic, and I think this is. I guess that same thing, in my opinion, is a continuation of that. So that's why I got to give him credit and say, hey, he probably did plan this all along. And that's not to say that she couldn't have done it, but that I do think he would have been petty enough to argue, them to work it out and make it happen. But I just feel like she's now just, even on social media, she seems like she's at peace with it. He's been more argumentative, but I think it's been a gay thing for him. Or it's been, just people talking down on him, leaving her with kids. I think that's been another thing.
14 kids,
so yeah, he might be like, hey, you know what? I was going to leave this alone, but y'all talking about me.
Right.
Let me go ahead. And I can see that frustration.
Being defensive, which makes sense.
And everybody's come to her defense and say, hey, look, girl, everything's going to be all right.
Right.
And I think she's been feeling the love, but he has not been feeling the love. And, that's justifiably
And like you said earlier, you feel like he's petty, so
he's definitely petty. He's been petty.
He's going to respond.
He's petty. He's petty. He's always been petty. Petty people respond to those little things, those arguments to people on the internet, right? So in my mind, that's petty. He's been petty on the show,
right? And what we do know is we're here talking about it because they decided to put their lives out there, and it's interesting to people. It's they got that hook, line, and sinker with TLC. That's why we're here. That's why we were talking about it. People are going to talk, how those people then decide to respond. It's on them at the end of the day. But I'm curious to see how it all play out. I'm curious to finally find the answer. I don't know if we'll actually find it in the next season. I think somebody's probably going to write a tell-all 10 years from now. And we'll probably finally get the real truth. Will you find it?
Will they tell the truth? I think he's going to let it out next season. I think she's going to be limited on that conversation. I think he's just going to give the whole plan.
So she's just going to just take his lead.
I think she's been doing that since the beginning of their relationship. I'm going to be honest. Again, I hate to say it, but I do believe that that's what's been going on from what I've been seeing. She's only been doing what she's been, I guess, allowed to do or, whatnot. That's, again, she's very vocal on the show. She's very vocal within the family. But when it comes to the business side of that relationship or that family and the politics of it all, I think he's been kind of operating that. Yeah. Like where we're moving, what we're buying, what we're doing, all that kind of stuff. That's been, his
and
position.
Well, at least that's what we see, right? I mean, we see probably a few weeks or a couple of months of filming and edited versions of what's out there. That's all we have to go on, So they know their true story. Hopefully they'll share it with us. Hopefully we'll hear the right answer. But like I said, I kind of feel like we'll probably get some good grains of truth, but I feel like the whole shebang is probably not going to come for several years. Somebody's going to write a book.
Nobody's writing no book. Nobody wants to read no book.
We shall see, though. We shall see. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
All right. But that's all we got today. Till next time.